Hey, everybody. You can help us make Chris DeMakes a podcast even better by telling us a little bit about yourself. Go to surveymonkey.com/r/JDZ3HL7 for a quick listener survey. It only takes a couple minutes and it helps support our team. To show our appreciation, we're giving away 2 $50 gift cards to lucky participants every single month. Head to, go ahead and grab a pen, surveymonkey.com/r/JDZ3HL7 now for your chance to win.
K-pop Demon Hunters Haja Boys Breakfast Meal and Huntrix Meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Hey everybody, today's guest is Rachel Bolan, bass guitarist for the Toms River, New Jersey rock band Skid Row. Together we take a deep dive into the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the smash hit single, I Remember You, taken from their 1989 self-titled debut album. Okay, so I've gone on record before, and I stand by this statement. I Remember You is the greatest power ballad of all time. This song has it all. So it was surprising to hear Rachel say that him and guitarist Dave the Snake Sabo were thinking about leaving it off the record. In a time where every hard rock and heavy metal band were releasing the token ballad, Skid Row were hesitant to do one. But when the label heads heard it, they immediately loved it and insisted on its inclusion. And I'm thankful they did. This song has everything. A great relatable lyric, a soaring lead vocal, and they didn't soften it up by adding strings or keyboard. Yep, this was a power ballad, and it joins company with the Dream Ons, Home Sweet Homes, and November Rains of the world. Producer Michael Wagner crushes the production and mix here, and I have to give a shout out to one of the most underrated guitarists, Scotty Hill, who turns in the performance of a lifetime here. So for all this and a surprise guest vocal harmony, don't touch that dial.
Hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast.
All right, Rachel, I don't know where the time has went. It's been like 4 years since you were here. May 2nd of 2022.
Are you serious?
I know, man. I feel like I just talked to you yesterday about 18 in Life, and now we're back talking about arguably the best power ballad of all time. And I'll tell you why I say that. I kind of texted you the other day that I Remember You. We're going to talk about today. But yes, it's been 4 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You remember when bands wouldn't put a record out for like 2 years back in the day? You're like, what happened to them? Did they break up? And like now 4 years goes by and I'm going, where'd the time go?
I know. That's crazy, man. It's like I probably still have the text on my phone of Josh from Yellow Card hit me up. He's like, hey, my buddy Chris, blah, 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 blah. And he introduced us. That's 4 years ago? Wow.
I know,
Holy
man.
Crap.
Nuts. I know. We should have done 3 records apiece in the last 4 years, but I haven't.
I know. I hear you, man.
I know. But I Remember You. It was the 3rd single from the Skid Row self-titled debut album, which, man, I wrestled with this too, because at some point I want to get into some Slave to the Grind and even tracks on Subhuman Race that I absolutely love from your band. But
Okay.
I Remember You. The song reached number 6 on the Hot 100. This song was all over MTV, and I got to thinking, the first thing that hit me was this song is 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And I said,
isn't that crazy?
MTV had to have done an edit on this. They didn't.
No.
The whole song, and there's some songs, it's like, when I'm listening to this, I'm like, what would you pull out for a radio edit? What do you cut from this? And you can't. And I think that the song was too strong for an edit. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, the Snake and I worried about that in the studio once just rehearsing it as much as we did. We didn't even really think to time it. And when we were in the studio, we were just like, wow, we saw the meter and we're like, this song's over 5 minutes long. And it was a little weird because Snake and I didn't even want it on the record. We were just like, no, every band is doing a power ballad. And we didn't write it for any reason. I don't even know if there was a term power ballad back then, but we just didn't want to kind of do the same thing. But we got outranked by the label. They're like, that's going on the record. It's going on the record. You guys are kids. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But yeah, when we finally noticed the length, we're like, do we need to shorten this? Like, should we do a fade at the end and maybe cut the intro so the vocals come in right as the guitar starts? But we just left it and no one had a problem with it.
Man, I never want to agree with the labels, Rachel, and give them any props, but I think they made the right decision with wanting you to include this on the record.
Yeah. So the rest of the band did too. Like, Snake and I were just against it. And it was crazy because we knew we wrote a really cool tune, but we were just so afraid of being lumped in with a bunch of stuff that we didn't really want to, which we got lumped in anyway because of the whole genre.
Well, it's funny though. I call this a power ballad because, you had the Mr. Biggs to be with you. Love is on the way, Saigon Kick, More Than Words Extreme. Okay. And most of those songs came after this, you had those just acoustic guitar singer songwriter that was going to appeal to soccer moms across the land.
Right.
Well, the power ballad, that's Home Sweet Home, Motley Crue, Dream On, okay? Those are in the rock world. And then, of course, you'll get into, when I looked up the definition of power ballad, a slow rock song with a strong emotional vocal delivery and typically a grandiose production. And I got into things like November Rain and whatnot. But I'll put this song up against any of the after ones I mentioned in terms of just sheer power, and you work with Michael Wagner on this. Yeah. I love Michael. I think he's brilliant. I don't like everything he's done. And sometimes that boils down to the bands. Okay. And you're like, well, why doesn't this production sound as good as that? And sometimes it's just lightning in a bottle. And you guys definitely captured that with this track. Yes, it sounds 80s, but it doesn't sound dated, if that makes sense.
It does. Again, we didn't have any insight to what was going to happen with it, and didn't realize how many people it was going to resonate with, how many occasions it was going to fall, like it was going to relate to. Like, so many people said, oh, we played it at our graduation. And just as many people said we played it at our wedding. And just as many people said we played it at my friend's funeral. You know what I mean? And just as years go by, it seems like it just doesn't stop resonating with people. It was in that kids movie just recently, Minecraft, right?
Yeah, right.
And I remember Snake and I signing off on that a long time ago, and I didn't even know what Minecraft was, but I just saw Jason Momoa. I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden that movie came out and my phone blew up. They're like, dude, you guys are in this? Jason Momoa is going crazy singing it and all this. And it's still going. And the Shazam numbers on that were nuts, and it had to be kids, you know what I mean? Because any adult, their parents that might have brought them to the movies already knew the song, you know what I mean? And everyone, so it's pretty crazy.
I don't know what would be more mind-boggling to your 21-year-old brain or whenever you made this record that, hey, in 6 months you're gonna be the biggest thing on MTV, or hey, in 35 years from now, you're going to be on these forums that kids are going to still be into your songs. I don't know what's more mind-blowing.
To me, I guess it was both to me. Just like seeing that scene where he's singing the song, just like ripping his guts out. You know what I mean? It was cool.
Well, I went, of course, and looked for a demo. I had found a demo of 18 in Life with a singer you had briefly before you got Sebastian, Matt Fallon. And, it was okay. It didn't have that, the character and what the final recording became. But when I went and looked for I Remember You, yes, there's a demo, but Sebastian sings on that. So did this song come a little bit later than some of the other cuts, like 18 in Life?
Yeah, it did. We had the whole band together when Snake and I finished it. I think we started it when we had the band set, everyone in place. And we wrote it. I was still living at home, and everyone was still living at home pretty much. And there was a room in my parents' house that we used to call the green room because it had bright green carpeting, green paneling. The art had all shades of green. It had a couch that was green and white, and then it had a green ironing board in it, right? So we called it the green room. And we started writing it in there, and just we finished it actually on my parents' back porch. And it was just, we were basically writing about Seaside, New Jersey, and all the summers there, and meeting someone that's important to you for the summer. You know what I mean? And then maybe there's someone that goes past the summer. It's kind of like Boys in Summer in ballad form. And it was just really cool. I got so many memories from the green room. It's just ridiculous.
So when you were writing it, again, you said you were a little bit hesitant to, go to the ballad because, you don't want to be known maybe as a girls band. And a lot of bands did, I don't want to say struggle with that in the 80s, but certainly bands that were on the cusp, especially Skid Row. And we talked about this the last time. You guys just went a complete 180 on Slave and got heavier. No bands did that. They'd always go softer. Well, you had the ballad, the power ballad on the first record, but you're writing this, and then at what point did you feel comfortable showing it to Michael, or were you hesitant to show it to him because he might like it?
No, we knew, like, everyone that heard it liked it, and I wonder if that demo is the one with the drum machine, because I think that's the only demo we really made. Maybe we made one in the studio, yeah, because the first one was just with a rolling drum machine. I programmed the drums, and that's what we sent to Johnny and Richie, and they're like, "This is a great song," and everyone thought it was a great song, and Snake and I did too. We thought it was a great song, maybe for someone else. It's like, oh, maybe we could shout this to someone else. But when we presented it to Michael, he loved it. He loved all the songs. We were doing it in the show, in our club shows, and he came to see us when we were looking for a producer, and he liked the whole body of work, and when we met with a lot of producers before we met with Michael, and I was a big fan of a lot of stuff that he did. And when he got there, we played, where was that? What was the place in Providence that everybody played? The
Club
living room.
Lupo's?
The
living room. Yeah, living room.
So we played there. And after the show, we all, place kind of cleared out, and it was Snake, myself, Michael Wagner, our A&R guy, Jason, and I believe Doc McGee. No, maybe it was Scott McGee was sitting there. And Snake was directly across from me. No, he was next to me. And so we're talking to Michael, and he goes, "I just want the band to be the band." And that's when I kicked Snake under the table. And I just looked at him real quick, and he looked at me. He's like, cool. Yeah. And that, because we were a fan of what Michael did, and the fact that he wasn't, because we met with so many producers that were just trying to change everything. We met with a guy that actually scrapped that song, scrapped everything except for Youth Gone Wild, Making a Mess, and 18 in Life, and then trashed everything else. So, and then when Michael said, "I want the band to be the band," that's what I do. I just try to make what you guys have a little better. And so that's how we ended up with Michael. Still friends to this day.
That's awesome. I don't know if you heard the remixes he's done, like on the Kick stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He remixed the Cold Blood. It sounds absolutely incredible. And I'm not a big fan of remixes. It kind of changes the pulse of the original song. But I think these are phenomenal. Yeah. One more thing before we get into the song, talking about kind of being hesitant about the track. I noticed something I never ever thought about. It's track 10 out of 11 on the album. It's followed by Midnight Tornado. But was that because, we're gonna kind of bury it here because, we don't want it at the top of the record? You already had the other pseudo power ballad, 18 in Life, farther up in the record. But did you ever think about that?
No, actually, now that you mention it, I think we were trying to do like a Home Tonight type of deal, like Aerosmith, when they end it with the ballad. But then we had Midnight, because I don't think we were sure Midnight was going to go on the record or not. And then Tornado was added. We wrote that in the garage, I think right before we left for Wisconsin to do the record. I came up with a riff, and we didn't have a name for it. And then there was a tornado in Wisconsin. So I was like, during what we were recording, I was like, Tornado, that's the name of that song. So, we weren't sure whether that was going on the album or not, but the original idea, I believe, was to do like a Home Tonight type of thing, like on, what was that, Toys in the Attic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to do something like that.
And again, man, it all depends on the song. You know, there was tons of power ballads during this time, but man, I just feel like, again, what you capture with Michael here, it's just, I'll go back and I'll put this up against anything, like I said, and I like a lot of the power ballads, you know, from that era, but just to me, this just kind of has everything. The song, again, is 5 minutes and 10 seconds. The intro is 8 bars of acoustic guitar and bass guitar holding down the root notes. I never heard your bass there. I only thought it was acoustic all these years. If you had asked me if there was bass notes playing the top of this song, they're very subtle. They're very pushed back. There's only one part where you kind of move a little bit halfway through. I know in the video, Snake plays a 12-string, but this sounds like a regular acoustic here, a 6-string. It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you were right about the bass. The whole idea about the bass was just to thicken. I wasn't trying to play bass notes. The whole thing was just to give the acoustic a thicker, more tone. You know what I'm saying?
You know how many times I've heard this song starting in a Walkman in high school, at crazy decibel volume, crazy volumes, to now, and I'm just now realizing that there's a bass there. At first, when I put it on yesterday and I'm combing through this, I'm going, wait, is that the overtone from a string ringing out on the guitar?
No,
there is bass.
Yep.
That's cool. Now, was it there from the beginning, or was that something Michael suggested, or it's interesting?
No, we played it when we used to do it. I would actually roll the tone back on my bass when he was playing acoustic, and it was more of a live thing. So it just kind of filled it up on the bottom, and then I'd roll the tone up.
It's so funny when you do those live things, they don't always translate to the studio. It's like, what are you doing? No, there's no bass here. It's an acoustic intro, you know? But yet it worked brilliantly here.
Job done. Mission accomplished.
Mission absolutely accomplished. Well, this is the verse progression that carries into verse 1. And the acoustic guitar here, I wrote, it's the heartbeat of the song. You could strip everything away, and the acoustic guitar is the bed. It's the concrete, the foundation of this song. You can hear it all the way through. Woke up to the sound of pouring rain. The wind would whisper and I'd think of you. And all the tears you cried that called my name. And when you needed me, I came through. The only lyric in here that I thought it was, they called my name, not that. So after 37 years, I've been corrected. What's going on here? Did you wake up to the sound of pouring rain? Or
it was actually raining when we started writing the lyrics, and my parents' house didn't have air conditioning, and we opened the windows, and it was just a shh. And at the time, both of us smoked cigarettes, and each of us would go outside and smoke a cigarette like up against the house, and so that we weren't getting soaked. But yeah, that's kind of what was the catalyst for everything. We knew it was going to be a love song per se. So someone's missing someone and wakes up and hears a rain and thinks about her crying, and wanting this person to be there in her time, or wanting to be with this person in her time of need.
Okay. I'm just going to bring this up now. Something else I found incredibly interesting. Never really thought about it. There's no harmonies on the vocals anywhere in this song. It's just a straight up, there's a double in the chorus, but there's no harmonies. And I think that's brilliant because, you have, Sebastian, great vocalist, and sang the heck out of this song, but there's an honesty that comes with a singular vocal. And I really believe that helped catapult this song, as well as there's no pianos or keys or synths anywhere in this. That was a big thing with the ballad, okay?
Yeah.
And I always loved that about this song. I love that they weren't there. That inherently made you guys a tougher band than someone with keyboards.
There is harmony in 2 parts, actually. There's a harmony,
Okay.
but it's solo down.
Is it when he says never be lonely and holds that out? Never be lonely.
Every Endless Day is one of them have a harmony. And then where the I remember you, I remember you. Right before he goes up, there's a low harmony in that part, in the setup.
Okay.
I remember. And if you could guess who that is, I will give you $100.
Who sings that harmony there? Is it someone outside of your band?
Yes.
Is it John Bon Jovi?
It is John Bon Jovi.
It is John.
Yep.
Oh my God. He'd be the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
And that's wild. So how'd that happen? Obviously, I don't think you flew him to Wisconsin.
He came up to visit and see how it was going. He came up. Doc came in town. Jason Flom, our A&R guy, came in town, and they wanted to hear what was going on. At this point, all the vocals were done. And John's sitting there. He goes, "That needs a harmony." And I was like, "Give it a harmony." So
wow.
He told Michael, and Michael's like, "Yeah, cool." He went up, he set the vocal mic up, and John went in there and tried a couple different things and nailed it on that one.
I've never heard that story. Now, I want to say that I heard that I know that he was had worked behind the scenes and had talked to Doc about the band, but I want to say that he maybe I had heard he'd done backing vocals. I did not know it was on this song, nor did I really hear that harmony. It's so subtle. I just didn't pick up on it.
You'll never not hear it. Now that you know it's there, you'll never not hear it.
All right. That is awesome. Well, some cool things happen here at the top of verse 1. On the line, and all the tears you cried that called my name, we get a huge drum fill, stereo guitars, and the guitar panned off right does this kind of comes in. The bass is super big now. The acoustic guitar is there, and the more playful stereo guitar panned off right hits a pinch harmonic squeal before the second half of verse 1, where the stereo guitars then hang into the second half. And on the line, and when you needed me, I came through. That's like a pre-chorus fake out there. It's still part of the verse to me, okay? The next time that happens, I call it a pre-chorus. So we're going to go into the second half here of verse 1. I paint a picture of the days gone by, when love went blind and you would make me see. I'd stare a lifetime into your eyes. And I'm not going to read the next 2 lines because that, to me, that's a pre-chorus. The next 2 lines. I know maybe I don't know if you consider it the verse or people do, but
it was one of the setup. You know what I mean? Snake and I are both very huge Motown fans. And that is just a typical Motown thing to do. You know, it's like, it's a little fake out. Okay. And then you like maybe repeat a line. And that happens in so many songs in Motown, but it's always like, bop, 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 bop. You know what I mean? If you sped the song up, you could probably put a double beat to it.
Yeah, no, that's interesting that you say that. And man, sometimes those fake outs, and this is the only time it happens. You don't get it on verse 2, which is only half of verse 1. I think it's absolutely brilliant. On the second half here, acoustic guitar, bass, and we get a side stick on the snare drum. The tambourine is on every other snare. Do you remember talking about that? That's interesting.
Wow, I actually forgot about that.
It's on every other snare. I'm sitting there going, am I hearing it on the other snares? And I'm like, what is going on? And it's subtle, but it's really cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a Michael Wagner. I actually forgot about that until you mentioned it right now. That's definitely Michael Wagner.
man, it's such a simple thing. Let's only play the tambo on every other snare.
Every other one, yeah.
But it's perfect. It's those little things that, like, you know, and that's what makes a great producer, I say sometimes. I mean, you could have thought of that, or anybody. A lot of times the producer does those little simple things that just really, really elevate a song. On the last line, I'd stare a lifetime into your eyes. We get that drum fill again. The bass, acoustic guitars, and the stereo guitars with the on that right main stereo guitar on the right-hand side coming back in to set up for the pre-chorus. So that I knew you were there for me. Time after time, you were there for me. So second half of verse 1 in the pre-chorus here. Talk about the lyrics a little bit.
So basically, I can remember everything that we do together. And even when there's the good and the bad, I'm so like I'm blinded by love. And then all of a sudden you do something to make me realize, holy shit, here's the bad part. There's a good part and there's a bad part, you know?
God, someone had a quote the other day that was something to the effect of that. It's like, you know, we all jump back in even though we've been hurt so bad by love. It's just it's a mousetrap.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right after this, we go into, and again, I'm calling these last two lines the pre-chorus to set up for chorus 1. We get into the chorus, which is drums, bass, stereo guitars, acoustic guitar, and a guitar panned right and left. Those guitars are playing some tasteful licks as the stereo guitars ring out big power chords. The tambourine is on every snare hit here in the chorus. And it sounds like we got a double lead vocal here. And this is where I had written, wow, it dawned on me, no vocal harmonies. As I know now, there's a couple subtle ones, but you get to this chorus and it just lifts, okay?
Yeah.
Do you remember Michael ever saying, hey, we should add some harmonies here or something behind, or was it always a singular vocal?
It was singular, but like I said, there's one buried in there every endless day. I believe there's a harmony buried in there somewhere.
Okay.
His whole thing was to bring it up musically, so that's why he added more guitars and made the wall of sound a bigger wall. You know what I mean? And I remember hearing this back for the first time. And he always doubled the vocals in the chorus. 9 times out of 10, he would always double the vocals just to thicken them up a little bit.
Sure.
I think he would double them in a lot of spots, but the chorus was always doubled. And sometimes,
well, you know, you look back and there's some guys. I mean, I know like Stephen Piercy from Rat, like he would triple and quadruple track his lead vocal, but he had a really like thin voice. You know, Sebastian had a huge voice, and when you double guys like his voice, you get what you get here, which is just a huge commanding lead vocal. Remember yesterday, walking hand in hand, love letters in the sands. I remember you. Through the sleepless nights, through every endless day, I'd want to hear you say, I remember you.
It's now, the time has passed with these two people, and maybe they went, you know, when like I said, it's like Boys of Summer in ballad form. When we grown up in Toms River, New Jersey, you would go to Seaside, New Jersey, or Point Pleasant or somewhere like that. But it would always be hanging out on the boardwalk at night. And that's when you meet people and you hang out with people and do whatever. And sometimes it's like, you know, I'm going back to Connecticut or Rhode Island. It's like, okay, bye. And then sometimes it's like, oh man, you have to go, you know, and that's where we're at in the chorus. It's like, you know, remember yesterday, the summer, walking hand in hand, you know, hanging out on the boardwalk, love letters, put hearts in the sand or initials, whatever. I remember you. I remember that, you know, and then what's the next line? Through every endless day. No.
Through the sleepless nights.
Through
every
sleepless
endless day.
nights, thinking about every endless day, thinking about, I remember you. Like the memory is killing me, The memory of us together and we're not together now is killing me.
Hey, everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Rachel Bolan after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with the Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
Think Verizon is expensive? Think again. Anyone can bring their AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today and we'll give you a better deal. So bring us your bill. Walk in, run in, pogo stick in, teleport if you can. Ride on the back of a rollerblading yak or fly in on the wings of a majestic falcon. Any way you can, bring your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today and we'll give you a better deal on the best network. Based on RootMetrics Best Overall Mobile Network Performance, U.S. second half 2025. All rights reserved. Must provide very recent postpaid consumer mobile bill in the name of the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Tap the banner or visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Springfest is happening now at Lowe's. Keep the spotlight on your yard with Stay Green Premium 2 cubic foot mulch, 5 bags for $10. Plus, when you want more help indoors, get up to 40% off select major appliances that help you supercharge your chores. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid to 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Ever feel like your brain just won't click? Onnit Alpha Brain is a daily supplement engineered to support memory, focus, and mental speed. Made with science-backed ingredients, Onnit Alpha Brain helps you lock in, tune out distractions, and stay sharp. See what your brain can really do. Visit onnit.com and shop Alpha Brain to unlock your next level. That's ONNIT.com.
Hey friends, Chris DeMakes here. If you love Chris DeMakes a podcast and you'd like to help us continue bringing you great episodes each week, please take a minute to check out chrisdemakes.com. That's where you'll find our Patreon. Our Patreon supporters get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus episode that people have raved to us about for years. You can also get ad-free, early releases of each week's episode of Chris DeMakes a podcast, as well as unedited video versions of the show. Even if you're not sure if you want to sign up, you can go to chrisdemakes.com and sign up for a free account. We'll throw you a free preview episode here and there. We can't thank you enough for all the support. And if you have a few extra bucks and you want to help us keep the lights on, our Patreon is the way to do it. Head to chrisdemakes.com to learn more.
And Now, back to the show.
Well, we get a big "I love you" later in the song that we'll get to, but this far into the track, a lot of the tunes that were considered ballads back in the day, I mean, they'd have love in the title or they'd be all over the place. But you're talking about love letters here, but you're not like professing like, "Oh, I love you, baby." So again, it was here, but it wasn't knock you over the head. And this lyric, man, I'm going to use it. It's timeless. Okay, I say anybody, I don't mean that in a negative way. Anyone could write this lyric today in 2026 and it wouldn't sound dated. It wouldn't sound, a pop singer could sing these lyrics. They're timeless, man.
Cool. That's awesome, man.
I think they're great in that sense of getting a point across, rolling with the top down in the summer. And we're going to get to that lyric in a second. Just that whole vibe that you're kind of talking about.
Right.
The beach side and the parties and everything. It's super cool. We talked about those stereo guitars ringing out those big power chords. Love that. And I love what the guitars are doing. The other guitars are doing those tasteful licks in between. And then we get into a vocal part that's an 8-bar post-chorus tag, I'm calling it. The band is ringing out over it. Drums, bass, acoustic, and stereo guitars. And I wrote here, Rachel, that this part, to me, serves a purpose. And the main purpose is you got to bring everything back down because you can't take this chorus and go straight back to a verse. And this part does that. It brings it down, but not in a way like... Man, there's been other songs. I've written songs that you bring it down and all the energy gets sucked out of the song and it loses it. And this is great.
Right. Yeah. So again, it's probably going back to our love for Motown, because they would always do that, like Standing in the Shadows of Love. You know what I mean? That song, Bill, and then bring it back down for the verse. You know what I mean? Even though it was still kind of chugging along, but yeah, so it's like, hey, do something here vocally while we're bringing the music down that kind of just bridges the gap, and then Michael worked with them on it, and that's what we ended up with, and it works perfectly. It's a signature part of the song for
oh my gosh, sure. Yeah. And what's great about it again is it doesn't happen again. We get a post-chorus jam later, but it's different. It's not 8 bars, it's only 4 bars, but this is cool. It brings everything down to get us here into verse 2, which is the same overall instrumentation as verse 1, but I swear the tamborine's louder here. And we get these cool, clean guitar licks after the first 2 lines of verse 2, and we'll talk about those in a second, but here's verse 2.
We spent the summer with the top rolled down. Wished ever after would be like this. You said I love you, babe, without a sound.
We spent the summer with the top rolled down and wished ever after would be like this. You said I love you, babe, without a sound. That lyric, man, spending the summer with the top rolled down. I remember listening to that as a kid. I'm from Florida. We didn't have the top down in Florida in July in the summer. It was too hot, okay? You had the air conditioning on, but you could do that up north. And I remember that lyric sticking out to me as a kid. I'm like, man, that'd be cool to be up north in the summer to drive with your top down.
It's funny because the whole idea behind that wasn't even, I never had a convertible in my life, but it was just kind of picturing people like on the West Coast more so than by me. I mean, you'd see people, in convertibles and stuff, but it was like when we wrote that, we were completely picturing cruising down Sunset. So, but the lyric kind of fit in with what we were trying to say.
Well, man, you had this 16-year-old kid believing you guys were cruising around, Asbury Park on the beach in a convertible. Come on.
Well,
no?
Did I have a convertible? I didn't have a convertible. I knew someone with one.
Maybe Scotty McGee had a convertible. I don't know.
Yeah. My friend's dad did.
Well, we spent the summer with the top rolled down. The next line, and wished ever after would be like this. There's so many ways to say, I want you forever. I want you forever after. I want ever after to be. But the way you phrase this, and wished ever after would be like this. That's a cool line.
I was pretty proud of that one. It's like they live happily ever after. I just, that was the thought process of the character. It's like, I wish we could it could be like this forever.
Yeah. But you said it in a different way there.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And
poetic license.
And the only time you hear these little fills, these guitar fills, it sounds like a Strat through some clean amp. It's just beautiful. Those
Scotty
little
Hill.
That's Scotty Hill there, huh?
Yep.
And that's the only time in the track that it happens. Do you remember Michael talking about that? Like we got to have something come in here just for verse 2.
I remember hearing it. When we recorded parts, usually the other guys weren't in there unless they had a question about something.
I remember you talking about that last time.
Yeah. And when I went to hear playback, I was like, wow, that just, it takes it to me at that point. It kind of took it in a different direction than most power ballads. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this is, Jeff Beck type, Jimi Hendrix type, George Harrison type stuff going on in here. And my whole thing was like, no other motherfuckers are doing this. And I was just, and like, listen, I'm Scotty Hill's biggest fan, right? Like I played with Scotty before Skid Row, and I'm sure we'll play together long after Skid Row. So when he did that, I just remember looking at him going, dude, that's incredible. That is incredible. Like this just took us in a different direction, and just the tone of that guitar. And it probably was a Strat type. It could have been like a Jackson. It was definitely like a single coil type thing going on there, I think. And it just, I was so blown away by it, And
you had mentioned Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton. I mean, even like guys like Alan Holdsworth, like some of those guys.
Oh, that was one of Scotty's favorite guitar players. Scotty is actually the guy. When we met. We were both 20. I think I was 21. He was 20. He goes, "You ever listen to Alan Holdsworth?" I was like, "I heard of him. I never listened." And we drove around in his car, listened to him and Tony McAlpine.
Oh my God!
And all these different. And like Steve Vai's solo record, like way before, I think
Flexible.
Was after, with what was Little Green Men or something. Yeah. And he's playing me all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is a completely new world for a punk rock kid from Toms River.
And I mean, and just those two guitar licks that he does after those first two lines of verse 2, I remember that as a kid sticking out to me and being like, that is just so cool. Yeah. And then we get right into pre-chorus 2, same instrumentation as the first pre-chorus, but the lyrics are different here. I said I'd give my life for just one kiss. I'd live for your smile and die for your kiss. Now, the listeners probably have heard me talk about this before. I specifically had a couple different producers say, you can't say kiss and kiss. You can't say good and good or bad and bad. You got to have a different lyric there. What are you doing? And I always thought that was crazy because there's a million songs that do that. Case in point, here's another huge hit song that has kiss rhyming with kiss. Was that ever an issue? Did you ever think about it? Did Michael bring that up?
No. When we did it, that's one of Snake's pet peeves, to be completely honest. It's one it's one of his pet peeves. It's like, how do we rhyme it with a different word? And I'm like, so, and then I said, it's funny because we were doing an appearance, a signing and stuff not too long ago, and someone brought up that exact line. They're like, you can't do that. and it's like, I was like, dude, we did it before you were born. This guy was like 30, right? I go, we did it before you were born. And I go, so as we explained to him, it's like, you're not really, it's all one line. You're just reiterating the point, but you from the heart, you know what I mean? It's like, die for your kiss, or live for your smile, and die for your kiss. And the rhythm of that, as well as the rhythm of that other setup line, that was very intentional. Live for your smile, die for you, live for your smile, and die for your kiss. That is all intentional for that percussive vocal under over the beat.
Oh, it's no, and again, I always talk about it, hooks within a song, man. And that's a hook within that you don't even really think, but yet, you got people bringing up the lyric to you. And I zone in on this lyric because the only reason that I would even have ever thought about this or would have brought it up is because I'm staring at the lyrics on paper. Kiss, kiss. Otherwise, and this, a lot of times, and I know why Snake would get aggravated. I know why producers have called me out on it. A lot of times it's lazy songwriting. You've seen it where it's like, we got nothing else, whatever. It's the second verse. No one cares. Well, I've never subscribed to that train of thought. To me, you got to hang on every word. But to your point, I'd give my life for just one kiss. I'd live for your smile and I'd die for that same kiss.
Yep.
That put an exclamation point. I think it's great, but I like that it did go, it did come across your mind, or at least Snake's.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, Howard Benson, he just gave me grief. We had this lyric. He's just like, you can't say believe and believe. I'm like, yeah, but no. And I'm like, okay. So I don't necessarily believe in all those rules, but there you have it. But I think that point, that second pre-chorus, when it lifts there with a die for your kiss, when that put an exclamation on that, it's such a great launch into chorus 2, which again, same overall instrumentation and lyrics as chorus 1, but I feel like everything's kind of built here. Like the second chorus has a little bit more, I call it a little bit more hair on it. Maybe the stereos are a little louder. The vocal sounds like it has a little bit more oomph. Like maybe Sebastian was a little more warmed up here, and that's where Michael captured this part. This time it's a 4-bar post-chorus tag, but this is different from the first time. There's a different tension here in chord progression, and those chords are what's happening there that lead into the bridge part. It's so good. Was there ever a discussion to keep it 8 bars, or was it always 4 into the bridge?
I think it started on the first demo as 8. I could be mistaken, I don't know, but yeah, there was a little bit of discussion there to get. And I think this all comes from how long the song was getting or feeling. And then, we're like, okay, we're through the chorus. Let's drive it home. Let's get this bridge in there and drive it home.
Yeah.
And make it as big as humanly possible.
Well, something else I wanted to mention was the song is 5:10, but it doesn't feel like it, No, it doesn't. It doesn't even feel like it live. No, and I think like if you would have asked me how long as I remember you, I would have said, it's 3:55, 4 minutes. I would not have thought it was 5 minutes and 10. I've always said that is a sign of good songwriting. I've heard 3-minute songs that seem like they're 10 minutes. Like, when is this thing going to end? But this song never feels like it's labor intensive from a listener's perspective. I've never felt that, and I stand by that. Again, we get that 4-bar post chorus, and then we get into the bridge. We've had our share of hard times, but that's the price we paid. And through it all, we kept the promise that we made. I swear you'll never be lonely. Some bridges give me this feeling, and this bridge does, Rachel. It's when you're 3/4 through the action movie, okay? And you always know it because the movie has a lull. No one's dying. Everything's calm. They're in the building. It's quiet. But it's going to ramp back up again, right? And that's the vibe I get here from this bridge. We've had our share of hard times, but that's the price we paid. It's kind of like you're reflecting on the past, you're reflecting where you're going. But great lyric. Let's talk about it a little bit.
It was kind of what you're saying. Snake and I used to see things like write very visually, if that makes sense. We always like to write lyrics and the feel of the music so that you could close your eyes and almost picture it happening, and if it's a movie or something or a video. And so we got there. We're like, okay, what do we want to say? we have the conflict and the love and all that, we have to cement this. So it's like we had our share of hard times, but that's the price we paid. Through all those hard times, the loneliness and the separation and whatever may have happened, we kept the promise that we made. And that promise was, you'll never be lonely. Here or there, you'll never be. If we're here together or apart, you'll never be lonely because I'll always be thinking about you.
I really think, I mean, besides I Remember You, but that bridge lyric is why this made it into so many weddings.
Probably.
I think that bridge lyric encapsulates that whole matrimony, that whole union, that whole...
I never even thought of that.
That whole idea. No, it's really cool. Got some great stuff happening here during the bridge. Drums, bass, stereo guitars doing these big ring outs, and we get a single note acoustic guitar panned off left. It's also thrown in some arpeggios. There's also a guitar panned off to the right that is an electric guitar, and it's doing the same kind of thing as the acoustic guitar panned off left, but this has some pinch harmonics that are kind of buried, noodling around. I love what these guitars are doing. They're barely audible. What's happening there, especially the acoustic. It's like it's doing single things. I love the texture of what's going on there. Let's talk about that a little bit, because the stereos are just ringing out, the bass is doing its thing, and the drums. But man, I think that's really cool. What
you're saying within the bridge?
Yeah, with the acoustic guitar overdub and the electric guitar overdub.
Yeah, it was kind of like at that point, it was kind of reckless abandon. You know, everyone was just doing their own thing. And just to set up the solo and the band at the very end that's actually goes into the solo, that was very AC/DC to me. You know, that's signature AC/DC, and that's what came out. And all the other little stuff going on, which I can't even remember half the stuff that was going on in there. Well, I remember there being so much.
Again, you could have went overboard with this part. It's really simple what the acoustic guitar and the electrics are doing. And simple doesn't mean that it's, juvenile or it's not a good piece of music. It just works for the part, man. You guys didn't overdo it here. You let the vocal do its thing. And then that big AC/DC drum buildup you're talking about, that is for the guitar solo. And the guitar solo actually starts in the bridge. And I swear you'll never be lonely. That's when the solo progression actually starts. And then the guitar solo, it's panned off left and it goes for 20 bars. I love the panning, what Michael did here. The guitar is panned slight left, the lead, but now the stereo guitar has come up in the right speaker to fill that gap. So you got the stereo over here is way louder than the stereo guitar on the left-hand side, because the left-hand side now is supporting the lead guitar. And the solo goes for 20 bars, continuing, and then from bars 21 through 28, that's where the drums go to a single ride. A single ride hits there as the guitar and the guitar panned left, that solo guitar playing crazy pinch harmonics here. It's so good. The stereo guitar panned off right, again, is way louder here than the left guitar, where the guitar solo is panned. Also from bars 21 through 28, an acoustic guitar is back now to the verse progression when it settles down in there and goes to the pinch harmonics. Did that part have any evolution from the solo coming back down into the verse? Because it's a little reminiscent of the post-chorus earlier breaking down into verse 2.
Yeah, we wanted to almost make it a re-intro. And, we hadn't heard, well, other than in rehearsal and shows, we heard Scotty's solo, but he really perfected it in the studio. So we start right before his solo comes in under the vocals, I'm doing this thing on bass where do 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 do. Then he goes doodle 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 doodle.
Yes.
And so I'm like kind of jamming something in, kind of as a setup, and then he comes in under the vocals and then just unleashes one of the most iconic solos in rock history, as far as I'm concerned. And to this day, Michael Wagner would say that is his favorite solo that he's ever recorded, and he's recorded some hot shoes for sure. So we once we get out of that, and we're like, okay, let's just go right back into an intro, like almost like it was the beginning of the song, and I'm doing the bass, just single notes on the bass, and Scotty's finishing off the mood and all the vibe of the guitar, and then I pull out. And then the singing comes back in.
Yeah. And man, that guitar solo. And can we talk about that real quick? Do you remember, did he do a bunch of takes and Michael comped, or was that just off the cuff? Or the solo, and I'm not just saying this because you said it, it's brilliant, and it elevates the song. It's perfect for it. I've heard a lot of great songs ruined by a bad guitar solo. I have.
Yeah. I agree.
Needless wanking and noodling around on the fretboard, but this is perfect. I know you said you weren't really there when the other guys were doing their parts, but the first time you heard this, you had to lose your mind.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember watching him work on it in rehearsal, and after a while, it's just like I got so used to the guy standing to my left just writing all this crazy solos that you just start, or like just playing like crazy, that okay, he's got another one. But then when I heard it in the studio for the first time, when we listened to playback, I was just like, my God, this is like a song within a song. And it's cool the way Scotty thinks, because his whole thing is he wants people to be able, he writes like, if he could whistle it, then it's cool. And so, whatever. And that's how he thinks. That's his whole thought process. And every time I hear that solo or listen to him play it live, I'm like, it's so incredible. And it wasn't off the cuff. He definitely worked on it. But like I said, once we got to the studio, he perfected it.
Yeah.
He may have done a few takes, and maybe Michael, I wasn't there. They could have comped a couple parts, but I know when we were rehearsing and doing pre-production, it was damn close to where it was when we recorded it.
It's interesting, and Scott, I've talked about him a lot. He doesn't get talked about in the Guitar Player magazine circles and whatnot. And, a lot of that is just, I think it was image, and, he was never like the bad boy getting arrested and getting in trouble. Sometimes that played into some of those readers' polls and stuff. Yeah. But man, he's just such a soulful, great guitar player. So, props to Scotty Hill. We come down into this verse, and with the first two lines, we come back to the top of the song. You just said it a second ago. You wanted to break down back into the verse like we're back to the top of the song, and you get the lyric. We woke up to the sound of pouring rain, washed away a dream of you, but nothing else could ever take you away. Here the acoustic guitar is in, but now we get like a light hi-hat. Very tasteful that's happening here. I love little things like that. And were those suggestions of Michael, was it on the ride cymbal originally that Rob was playing that he now went over to the hi-hat, or it's just tasteful?
To be honest, I don't remember. It could have been just to keep count with us so we could see what we're doing. And it was just one of those, accidental things. But I'm not really sure how that all came about.
So I look at it and I go, does the hi-hat need to be there? It could have been just guitar, but it's so cool.
Yeah, it could have been one of those live things that carried over into the studio,
Yeah, and I can't tell you how heartbroken I've been when I'm like, the thing I've been playing live for a year, the producer goes, "What are you doing there? What do you mean?" That it just takes away from the vocal. Cut that out. You're like, oh, come on, man.
Come on. I know, right?
That was my favorite part. You're telling me I just got to ring out an A chord? How boring is that? Come on, man.
That's right.
On the line, but nothing else could ever take you away. The band comes back in, and now we're into pre-chorus 3.
Take you away.
'Cause You'll Always Be My Dream Come True. Oh My Darling, I Love You. The band stops there and rings out. Such a hook. Again, that vocal cemented, kind of like the other one earlier, where it's just kind of, you're putting a stamp on it. I love you. It's very percussive. On Dream, 'Cause You'll Always Be My Dream Come True. Great high bass fill that happens there. I remember you talking about Michael, he'd asked you like, who you into? Who's your favorite players? And, and you were, Kiss, Gene Simmons and this sound. And you were trying to get your tone together, but little things like that. And obviously he rode that in the mix there, that little bass part.
Yeah.
What was that like being a kid from Jersey, 22 years old? You hear this playback. It's like, he turned my bass up, man. Damn right he did.
It was pretty awesome. It was cool that, it was so validating. Like, here's a guy that I really look up to and really likes not just a song I wrote with someone, but a bass part that he wants everyone to hear because he thinks it's that important, And it was pretty cool. When I went in and I heard that, I was like, all right, cool.
I mean, again, my band's early recordings were demos. I've gone on the record as saying that. It's hard to listen to them for me because, I was still learning my instrument. We were recording on a shoestring budget. But man, as far as your first real record, your first statement, you have nothing to be embarrassed about on your bass tracks alone. I mean, all the recordings here are they stand up and they're great. Your records, but you can look back with nothing but pride. It's just it's a monster bass sound. It's so good. Out of pre-chorus 3, that big I love you, we get into chorus 3. This is a double chorus, same overall instrumentation and lyrics. And Rachel, at this point, you're not going to put another lyric in here, right? In the chorus. It's what it is. It makes the statement you don't need anymore. Was that ever talked about? Hey, in the third chorus, let's talk about when we run away to LA together or something.
Yeah, no, we were just like, we knew that we were in the home stretch and we're not, it's not really that repetitive. We're on the chorus. So yeah, let's just drive the point home.
On the second half, walking hand in hand, the lead vocal goes up there, just kind of goes for it. And that in and of itself is a hook. We also, Sebastian goes for it on Through Every Endless Day. I'd want to hear you say, I remember. And then we get a I Remember You that holds out. And then we get a great stereo guitar lick buildup before the post-chorus jam, which is now a 15-bar jam that happens here. On bar 8, the guitar lead panned off to the left comes in, and then the stereo guitars hang over 8 bars of acoustic guitar, and now it's ride cymbal real light at the end with that acoustic.
Yeah.
And then the guitar kind of does this little, I don't know, almost like a little flare, I don't know, flamenco thing. And it kind of retards there, and the song ends. You get all the mixes back. You're in the studio. I remember asking you this about 18 in Life, but where did I Remember You sit with the rest of the 11 tracks?
I love the way it sounded. I was really proud of everyone's performance, but we're like, do we want this on our record? You know what I mean?
Man, you were thinking that still.
Snake and I, yeah, it was at that point where we're like, this might be good for someone else, maybe we could shop it to someone else. And that's when the rank got pulled by the label, and management's like, you're out of your mind. So I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, there's a special quality. I don't feel that any other 5 people could have made this particular recording at that particular time. You had Michael do it. And again, I'm a huge fan of his. I don't like all his productions. And I realized over time, a lot of that is well, maybe you don't like that band as much. Or, a lot of times, a lot of times it boils down to the song. Maybe the song's not great. Yeah, they're monster players. They could,
or you personally met a member of a band and you thought he was an asshole. And it's like, I can't listen to their music.
That happened to me with Kevin Dubrow from Quiet Riot. Yeah, he wasn't but it almost made me feel good. It added to his character. Everyone said he was a jerk anyway, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll take it from him. But no, this song's it has legs, man. Here we are, darn near closing in on 40 years since you guys released this song 38 years ago.
Isn't that crazy? Released 38 years ago, written 40 years ago,
Yeah. And now there are things coming out, Minecraft and TikTok and all these things that weren't around then. We had no idea. And all I can say to other musicians, and I'm seeing it with my band and other bands that have been around, the longer you stay around, the gifts keep on giving. You have no idea in 10 years from now what new trend is going to be out. And all of a sudden I remember using some, it's the biggest thing again. You don't know. And I think that is super, super exciting. Appreciate you coming back for the second time.
Yeah, man.
consider you a dear friend. And before we break,
yes, sir.
What's going on with you? I know we got a solo record coming out sometime soon. I want to hear this thing. Let's talk about it.
Can you believe it? First time in my career, the label wanted me to do a solo record, and we're on Ear Music, same label as Skid Row and Alice Cooper, Deep Purple, and Iggy has a record on there, and the Damned have a record on there. Anyway, a lot of artists that I really love. And they were wondering if I'd be interested in it. I was like, hell yeah, man. I got a stack of songs, and I'm writing just about every day. And I got a stack of songs that are just not meant for Skid Row. They're either too punk or too pop, and they just wouldn't fit, So went and recorded a record, had some really fun guests on the record, friends. I asked a bunch of friends if they wanted to come in and do something. Snake did a solo. Scotty did a solo. Rob Hammersmith, our drummer, played drums on the whole thing. My friend Damon Johnson from Brother Kane. And now
I love Brother Kane.
Yeah, and he's been in Lynyrd Skynyrd for ages, and he played with Thin Lizzy and Alice. And he's one of my closest friends. He came and did a bunch of solos. Noodle Betancourt did a solo. Danko Jones sang a song with me. Corey Taylor sang a song. And then my buddy Steve Conti, who I don't know do you know Steve? He played with the New York Dolls. He's in Michael Monroe's band. He's a fantastic singer, guitar player from New York. We've known each other forever. I was like, dude, I got a song, because he's a vocalist. I consider myself a stylist. You know what I mean? Like I could get by like with singing, but it's a song that needed more vocal control and whatever. So I called Steve, and he laid down the track, and of course blew our minds. And yeah, it sounds really good. I'm waiting to hear the masters and the test pressing. Yeah. And so it's coming out June 12th.
Great. And, you got a title of the record you could share with us?
It is called The Gargoyle of the Garden State. Gargoyle of the Garden State.
All right. Yeah. And that'll be out in June?
June 12th is the release date. And we'll do all the pre-orders. We're shooting some videos very soon. And I'm so psyched, man. Just like when that whole thing came up, I was like, all right, cool. This is a cool opportunity to be this far into your career and putting out your first solo record.
There's no wrong time to start. That's awesome. I cannot wait to hear it. And again, man, thanks for taking time out of your day to sit in with us.
100%, man. Love it. I love doing this.
Hey, everybody, if you enjoyed that conversation with Rachel Bolan, don't go anywhere because in a Chris DeMakes a Podcast First, I asked Rachel to stick around for a little bit longer so that I could ask him a question, and we had a lot of fun. It's coming right up after a few words from our sponsors and the band you might not know, so don't go anywhere. You're going to like this.
I get so many headaches every month.
It could be chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those who have 14 or fewer headache days a month. Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor. Visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
I'm Bruce Martin, host of Pit Pass Indy. Each week, I go behind the scenes of the NTT IndyCar Series and introduce our listeners to the biggest stars of IndyCar, which features the Indianapolis 500 as its cornerstone event. The men and women that compete in IndyCar may be the bravest athletes in all of sport, as danger lurks around every corner. They are able to look danger in the eye without flinching. That is why the NTT IndyCar Series features the best racing on the planet. Join me every week as we talk to the stars of IndyCar, including the legends of the Indianapolis 500 on Pit Pass Indy from Evergreen Podcast.
Do you like music, learning about good music, and laughing at bad music? Well, I have the show for you. I'm Chris DeMakes a Podcast producer, Chris Fafalius, and my One Hit Thunder co-host Matt Kelly and I are 300-plus episodes deep into revisiting one-hit wonders to decide if they deserve a second listen or should stay safely buried in your memory. We give every artist a fair shot, roast them when necessary, and when a band or artist is actually really good, we officially certify them Thunder, and maybe someday we'll even get around to sending out those notarized certificates. Basically, it's an incredibly fun music podcast, so smash that subscribe button on One Hit Thunder wherever you get your pods.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Slowed Up. Formed in 2025, Slowed Up is the project of multi-instrumentalist Ian O'Brien. Slowed Up aims to fuse the raw energy of rock with intricate layers of progressive music and the catchy appeal of pop. Here's a snippet of their song, Delete.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
So, Chris, I love that episode so much that I did a Chris DeMakes a Podcast first, and I asked Rachel at the end if I could ask him one more question. And so we're going to play that for everybody right now.
Let's hear it.
So, Rachel, I have never, as the producer of this show, I have never asked somebody a question. This is a first on Chris DeMakes a Podcast. But what I want to ask you is, in the whirlwind of everything that was going on around the time of this album, 18 in Life, and this song in particular, I Remember You, were you guys paying attention to the Billboard charts? Like, who was around you and where you sat on them?
Snake was that guy. Like me, I was just like a punk rock guy. It's like, as long as everything is cool where I am in this spot, I'm good. But he would make me aware of it. And it's like, man, we're kind of climbing the charts, it's like awesome. And then, the singles were doing well. And then as I got older, I started paying more attention,
The reason I ask you that is because while you guys were recording, first of all, I can't believe that this wasn't a number 1 song, but number 6 is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah. And of course, this song has lived on. But do you know what song, when you hit this peak, which the peak was on February 3rd of, hold on, I have it right in
89.
Once.
Probably.
No, 90.
Oh, was it 90?
February 3rd.
This would have been 90, yeah.
So I remember you hit number 6 on February 3rd of 1990. Do you know what you were 1 spot above on the charts? Putting you on the spot. I don't expect you to know this, but
it wasn't Paula Abdul, was it?
No, she was higher.
Okay. Wait, give me another guess. Let me think.
Okay.
No, Vanilla Ice was way before us, I think. Who was it?
You'll like this. You were 1 spot above Free Fallin' from Tom Petty.
Oh, we're above him.
Yes.
Oh, wow. All right.
He was number 7. Now, I have the top. Are you interested in the top 5 that were above you at number 6?
Absolutely. Hey, bro, you just set the hook.
Yeah. At number 5, 1 spot ahead of you was Aerosmith with Janie's Got a Gun. Wow. Number 4, I had to go listen to this song, and once I heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, I know that song. Number 4 was Seduction with 2 to Make It Right. Do you guys remember this song at all?
Oh, everything gonna go right, everything gonna da. That song, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 3 was Rod Stewart's Downtown Train, a song I remember my parents liked at the time.
Okay. That was it. Was that the one with Jeff Beck?
Yes, that was Downtown Train. Yeah.
Number 2 was Paula Abdul, Opposites Attract. Of course, that is the song, the song with MC Scat Cat.
Yeah.
And speaking of ballads, the number 1 song at that moment was Michael Bolton's How Am I Supposed to Live Without You?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Man.
I would have swapped I Remember You with Michael Bolton. I would have put him down at number 6, but hey, that's just me.
That's a pretty diverse top 10 right there, man. Wow.
It is.
Let me ask you this. Was Tom Petty climbing or free falling?
I would assume at that point I think that Free Fallin', if I remember correctly, did go to number 1. Now, I don't know if it was before or after.
Now, let me see if my memory's correct. I want to say, Janie's Got a Gun was right there with you guys. Weren't you on the road around that time with Aerosmith?
If it was 1990, yeah.
Yeah. You were doing the pump run with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Man. What a tour.
What a tour. I could imagine.
Just getting to watch. Tom Hamilton's one of my biggest influences. Getting to watch him play every night and talk to him every day. It was sick, man. It was so fun.
Oh man. And those guys to you were kind of like when we went out with Bon Jovi in the sense that like you grew up listening to Aerosmith and then like they had a lull and then they came back like stronger than ever. I mean, their 80s career, people always have this romanticism in their head that Aerosmith was bigger in the 70s. They weren't, maybe their music was a little more raw, but they weren't bigger.
Man, it was crazy. It was really cool. I mean, quick story about Janie's Got a Gun, and Damon Johnson actually told me, and I think the story came from Marty Fredrickson because I believe he wrote the song with Steven. That beat, that's the beat from Ticket to Ride.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Tyler said, "I want to write something or just a slower version of Ticket to Ride."
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today. Jenny got a gun. Jenny got a gun. Dog did just.
I gotta say something. While not my favorite Aerosmith song, that's probably the most unique Aerosmith song, Janie's.
Absolutely.
It's an unreal composition. But Well, thanks for chiming in, Chris. I appreciate it.
That was great.
Hey, Rachel, thanks for humoring me. Before you go, I got to tell you that you could feel good about this too. Free Fallin', that was the peak for it. So it never got higher on the charts than I Remember You. So there you go.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Take that, Tom Petty.
That's awesome. Man, such quick research, Chris.
He's fast. He's fast.
So that was a lot of fun. Chris, I hope you don't mind that I decided to, at the last minute, add that last segment. But I'm always looking at charts and stuff. I think it's fun and interesting.
No, and they were in some good company there, which we found out that Free Fallin' from Tom Petty, that's amazing. It never went any higher. So one of Tom Petty's biggest songs, Skid Row, had a bigger song than him.
That's right. And this song is huge. It's so funny. I forgot that I Remember You is in the Minecraft movie. Chris, I actually saw the Minecraft movie in the theaters because my girlfriend Marquette and I took her kid Rylan to go see that movie. So I saw that actually in the theater. It's so cool. You never know what's going to give your song a resurgence.
You don't. And this song, a lot of those ballads or 80s songs, the metal songs, They were terribly pigeonholed in the sense that you couldn't get a pop singer or someone else to sing them. They were what they were. I feel like this song could be sung by, pop stars. I think this song could be huge again with the right singer.
Absolutely. And I just think it speaks to the song being really good that it's a 5+ minute long song that didn't even have an edit for MTV or radio.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And the harmonies with John Bon Jovi, that I couldn't figure out who else it would be with those harmonies, but I'm going to have to go back and listen to it. They are really subtle, I guess. Case in point, Sebastian just had one of the greatest metal voices ever, and you didn't need him. He sang this song with such power and conviction that I think that backing vocals might have mucked it up.
You talked about like the sparse harmonies and you thought there were no harmonies, and it's so funny that you have John Bon Jovi doing a harmony to it and you just bury that in the mix. We're just gonna bury John Bon Jovi because the song just stands on its own so much. And I think, you're way more of a metalhead than me. I would say I'm not a metalhead at all, but there is something about Skid Row that I always liked and still like. And I think I finally realized while you were recording this, they're so much more tasteful than other bands from that era and of that style. Like, you don't have not that I don't like synths and keys and everything, but you don't have that. It is, when it comes down to it, it is a strong vocal and it is a rock band. And that's exactly what you're hearing on the recording.
Yeah. And here they were, 20-year-old kids, Rachel and Snake, sitting there going, I don't know if we should put this on the record. They were thinking about their integrity. That says a lot, because you hand a 20-year-old keys to the kingdom and money and promises of this and that, and they'll pretty much do anything to achieve that, especially when all you want to do is make it when you're that young in the music business. So they're sitting there questioning, and mind you, they hadn't sold a record yet, and they're questioning that, and that says something about their integrity. I back it.
Absolutely. And you said that this was maybe a little bit ahead of the curve, because I don't really know the time frame of like everybody having those what you would call schmaltzy power ballads. This was like a little bit ahead of that.
I mean, they were happening, you had the power ballad as far back in the 70s with Dream On, but from Aerosmith. But yeah, around this time, in terms of, this song came out 88 into the album was released in 88, came out in 89 into 90. After this, you had To Be With You, which was 91 or 92 from Mr. Big. You had More Than Words, which was after this from Extreme. I think that was 1990. And then there was also Love Is On The Way from Saigon Kick. I think that was 92 that came out. So, but all those songs were just guitar, maybe strings or something and a vocal. But this was a full-on production, yet they stayed away. They shied away from keyboards and piano in this. It wasn't a schmaltzy ballad, so to speak.
Yeah, they weren't going over the top with it and making it to the point where it's cheesy. And I think that is why, you could still listen to these lyrics today. You talked about it in there. Who can't relate to this? I Remember You. And even some of the cool pictures that they paint in the lyrics in this song. I loved I thought it was so funny talking about the top being down. Like he's like, I never had a convertible in my life. And that's so funny. I've never known anyone who had a convertible in my life, but yet I can still, for some reason, relate to that lyric, and it puts me in a certain place.
Yeah, and this song, it was 10th on the record. He doesn't really know why. I think it's because they were kind of trying to bury the song. Maybe it was subconscious or whatnot. But this ended up being arguably, I think this is probably their biggest hit, even bigger than 18 in Life. And I love this song, man. Like you said, it stood the test of time, and I wouldn't be surprised if any day now some huge pop star could cover this and send it through the stratosphere.
Yeah, 18 in Life actually went 2 spots higher on the charts, but I think this is the song that has stood the test of time more, as evidenced by Minecraft movie and just people knowing it in general.
Right on. Well, hey, if you haven't already checked out ChrisDeMakes.com, you should go check it out, because all last month, Chris, we had episodes of Defeat DeMakes, which we give those to you as perks, as well as the after party, our bonus episodes each week that Chris and I strive so hard to make great. That's over at ChrisDeMakes.com. Help us keep the lights on here. We appreciate each and every one of you for helping us out. And Chris, do you have a review today?
I do have a review for us, Chris. This is a 5-star review from Apple Podcasts. This one is from Henrich M, or Henrik M, who gave us 5 stars and said, "The coolest podcast" as the headline, and then said, "Chris and Chris do an amazing job with this. It is so cool to hear how the songs are put together and each unique story about them. And if you're not an after party member, you're out of your mind." There you go, Chris.
All right. We got a double endorsement there for the main show and for our after party.
That's right. And like Chris said, if you enjoyed our month of Defeat DeMakes last month, hey, joining our Patreon at ChrisDeMakes.com is how you can be eligible to be a contestant and take Chris on yourself. So I think people had a lot of fun last month with those episodes, Chris. So I would like to do more of Defeat DeMakes.
Absolutely. Well, I know I did. Once again, that's over at ChrisDeMakes.com. Thanks to Henrich for giving us Henrichy Rich for giving us our review this week. We appreciate it. And want to thank this week's guest for sitting in the hot seat, Rachel Bolan. And we'll catch you next week. Hey friends, have you been loving Chris DeMakes the podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the rap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.